Megan here, and today I'm going to do my very first tag. So I am doing the 2 books with 1 stone tag, which was originally done by Sean the Book Maniac. And I was tagged by Lindsay Reeds. So thank you so much, Lindsay. I really appreciate you tagging me, and I love watching your channel. So if you all haven't seen Lindsay yet and her channel, go check her out. Okay, so the first prompt is the second last book you read. So the second last book I read is Betsy Was a Junior by Maud Hart Lovelace. And I've made a whole video about this, so you can go check that out. The next prompt is the second book from the top of your TBR. So for me, that is Hawaii's Story by Hawaii's Queen, Liliuokalani. I'm so sorry, I'm not pronouncing that right, I don't think. I think it's a beautiful name, it's just really hard for me to say. Yeah, I picked this book up while I was in Maui, actually, and I think it'll be really interesting. She was the last queen of Hawaii. She was the one who wrote Aloha Oi. She actually wrote quite a few songs, and yeah, she has a very sad life because she wrote this book after after the states annexed Hawaii, after Hawaii became part of the states. And this book is her basically pleading and fighting for Hawaii to be made a kingdom again, for it to be independent again. So the next prompt is 2 2-star reads. Now, I actually don't really rate books, and like I probably should start doing that on Goodreads because it is important for authors like to have their books rated. But it's hard for me to rate books because I don't actually really think that way. I don't think, oh, I'm not really enjoying this book, this is a 2-star read, or like I just don't really think that way. I think, oh, I'm really enjoying this aspect of this book, this other aspect I really don't like. I wouldn't even know what rating to give it. So yeah, maybe I'll start rating books because it is important for authors, but in the meantime, I'm not. Okay, the next prompt is 2 great books by the same author. Now, these books you probably haven't heard of, but I love them. The first one is Miss Fortune by Sarah Mills. It's an Allie Fortune mystery. And the second one is the second in the series, Mismatch. These are so good. I read them as they were coming out. I read them, I think I was, when were they first coming out? They were coming out in 2008. That's when this one came out. They are about a private eye just after World War II, a female private eye named Allie Fortune, and yeah, she gets into all these like thrilling hijinks of like, you know, post World War II, you know, things that are happening in Berlin, how everything was being divided up. She goes over there from New York, and it's so good. There's you know, suspense, intrigue, mystery, romance. Like, they're so good. They're funny too. Like, I love these books. And what happened is that I think the publisher canceled the series or something, and they both these books end on cliffhangers. So the second one ends on a cliffhanger, and you're like, please, I just want to read more of these. I love them so much. So yes, please, Moody Publishers, publish more of these. I actually emailed the author, Sarah Mills, a few years ago about it, and yeah, she said she would have loved to continue publishing them, but yeah. Excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze. Yes, anyways, I love these books. I think we should like get a petition going for the next book to be published because they are so good. Okay, 2 bails, or 2 books you'd wished you'd bailed on, or 2 books you hated. So I very rarely bail on a book, and I don't judge people who do bail on books. It's just there's something in me that just like hates it when I don't finish something. It just like aggravates me so much. Just leaving a job unfinished. But there is one book that I read the first 5 chapters to, and I just could not get into it. And this is a very famous book. People either love it or hate it, it seems, and that is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. Now, the thing is, I know this is not supposed to be a beautiful romantic story, which is what a lot of the movie adaptations portray it as, and what a lot of the, you know, a lot of the thinking is. People try to portray it that it's a great romantic story, but it's really not. It's a revenge tale, and I do know that. but I still could not get past the first 5 chapters. So what I did was I was like, I just feel so, like, I really feel like I'm not doing some really important, like, obviously I'm a big reader, I should read Wuthering Heights. Like, how could I not read Wuthering Heights? So I decided to listen to an audiobook version of the an abridged version, which also seems like, abridged? How can you read abridged? Read the whole thing, you're not a kid. But I listened to the abridged, and I couldn't get into it. I am holding on to this beautiful copy so that hopefully one day I will read it, but for now it's still just sitting on my shelf. That being said, I have read Jane Eyre like 3 times and really enjoyed it. I don't like it as much as like Jane Austen, but I do really like this book. I've read it 3 times, so obviously I do like it. I even have, I'm gonna try to grab it here, I even have this huge book. It's really big, like it's bigger, like that big. Yeah, obviously you can see the Bronte sisters, the complete novels. I even have this, but the only Bronte book I've read is Jane Eyre, like, and the abridged of Wuthering Heights. So I really do want to get to some Anne Bronte books and also the rest of Jane Eyre's books. Oh my goodness, Jane Eyre's books. Emily Bronte, not Emily Bronte. I need to cut this. This is like really bad. The rest of Charlotte Bronte's works. I really do want to get to the rest of Charlotte Bronte's works. But in the meantime, there's always so many other good books to read. Okay, the next prompt is 2 favorite reads so far this year. Now, like I said, because I only read books that I know I'm going to like, I have liked all the books I've read this year. But these 2 were really, really good. The first one is called The Nazi Officer's Wife, How One Jewish Woman Survived the Holocaust. It's a true story. It was actually written by this woman, that's her, Edith Hahn Beer, with Susan Dworkin. It's really good. It's really sad and suspenseful, and it's true. So, I mean, there's definitely other World War II books I've read that have definitely hit me a lot harder, but this one is so good. It's really, really good. You know, a Jewish woman living in Nazi Germany, and not only that, but married to a Nazi herself. Like, that's kind of crazy, and it's true. The other book is also a World War II book called Forgiveness by Mark Sakamoto. And yeah, it's very interesting. It's about, Mark is a real man. This is a true story as well. Mark's grandparents on his mother's side, his grandfather fought in World War II and was a prisoner of war in Japan. And his grandparents on his dad's side were a Japanese-Canadian family who were taken out of their home and forced to live basically like as slaves. And that really happened in the history of British Columbia. Lots of Japanese Canadians were forced out of their homes because people were terrified that they were spies and were gonna, you know, so it's talking about the forgiveness of how these 2 families who were wronged by you know, each other's people basically forgave each other, and it's really beautiful. Okay, let's see. The next prompt is 2 new favorite booktubers. Now, this is very exciting because one of them is my sister, Sarah Hannett. I helped her start up her channel, and yeah, she's really great. She's got a lot of really good thoughts. She's very articulate. So yeah, check her out. And the other one is Naomi's Bookshelf, and Naomi is actually my cousin. So Naomi always is very insightful and perceptive about things, and we often buddy read books and read books together. So yeah, she has some great thoughts. So go check out her channel. Okay, next prompt is a book you've read twice. Now I had to really think about this because usually if I read a book more than once, I've read it like 3 or 4 or 5 times. So thinking of a book that I had read twice was hard, but I did come up with it. And that is some Elizabeth Gaskell books. Wives and Daughters and North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. And I've read all her novels, many of her novellas. Yeah, I've read most of her works, I would say now. And I've read these 2 twice. And I particularly love North and South. I also love Wives and Daughters so much. And I've watched the adaptations of both many times. They are really good stories, so go and read them. And then 2 fabulous quotes you've read from books recently. So, my first quote is from the Selected Journals of L.M. Montgomery. And this is a quote that she's talking about World War I. And I think we really, it just speaks to how everything, the entire culture of the world changed in those 4 years of World War I. They entered World War I in one culture and they exited it with a completely different culture. And to live through that, especially as an older person, would have been so hard. So this is what she says. Nothing can ever be quite the same again for any of us. I read that the other day in a London paper. Oh, horribly true. The old order has passed away forever. Life can never again be for us what it was before that fatal day in August, the day that the Archduke Franz Ferdinand was shot, which kick-started World War I. Actually, that was not the day that Archduke Franz Ferdinand was shot. He was shot a couple weeks earlier, and then war was declared on August 4th, 1914, by England on Germany. Or was it by Germany on England? This video is going to be all over the place. I'm a little bit scatterbrained. Anyways, so yeah, I think that would have been a really hard time to live through. It's even something I noticed today with like on a smaller scale, with older people having a hard time with technology. Like, it's hard for them. It's all these changes. It's really hard for them. So yeah, I don't envy that. The other quote I've got is from the Bible, and of course I read the Bible all the time, like every day, so of course I had to find a quote from there, and this verse is John 3:16 and 17 actually, and it's pretty much the cornerstone of my faith, of what I believe, so I thought it would be a good verse to pick. So John 3:16 to 17, "For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. For God did not send his Son, Jesus, into the world to condemn the world, but to save the world through him." And you know, we live in this culture where it's so discouraging when you see Christians condemning and judging and not listening to other people's stories and hearing what's, you know, what's actually going on. And like, God does not intend to do that. He did not intend to do that when he sent his Son. That's people being broken. So yeah, now I'm going to tag some booktubers. So tag a number of booktubers. The total must be divisible by 2. So I am tagging Sarah Hannett, Naomi's Bookshelf, Summer Dawn, and Alan Morton. I enjoy all 4 of these people's channels, and I would love to see them do this tag. So yeah, may you be filled with peace, hope, love, and joy. Take care, everyone.